Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Mindset Monday. So this is the place to be to get inspiration and motivation on how to be happier and more fulfilled in your life. My name is Sally Garozzo, for those of you who don't know me, and today's session is called Your Passion Project Needs You, how to move through fear so that you can create a really fulfilling side hustle. So in today's modern world, we are all so connected, aren't we? And making money online and building your brand has never before been easier. The potential is there for everybody to make money out of their passions, whether it's dog grooming, whether it's flower arranging, whether it is jewelry making. I got these earrings at the weekend. Do you like them? They're clay. They've been made by a lady and her company is called Tuesday Honey. So definitely check her out. No matter what it is, you can turn your passion into money, passion into profit. There you go. There's a slogan. I even discovered a lady who taught piano lessons dressed up as a princess. What a niche. I don't think we have any shortage of ideas in this world, but I do believe that we have a shortage of self-belief and we have a shortage of courage that is required to turn our passions into little businesses. And self-belief really is what you need to do this. So in today's session, I am going to share with you my story around one of my little side hustles so that you can hopefully begin to understand that you don't need to have it all sorted before you launch into your side hustle or your business or your passion project. You don't need to have all the qualifications under the sun. All you need is passion. The clue is in the name. You need passion. And that passion has to be mission-led. It's got to have a higher purpose. Because when the going gets tough, and it will get tough, it's that mission and that higher vision that will help you to move through the difficult times. So 2 years ago, I set up a night called Inspiring Talks Brighton, where we have speakers from all walks of life sharing their journey, sharing their hero's journey, sharing their ideas, sharing their business ideas, sharing their wins, sharing their trials and tribulations, their failures and their achievements. And it's been really, really popular. And each speaker talks for around 10 minutes. And we also have somebody up from the audience who is called our Risky Biscuit. And the Risky Biscuits are unplanned, they're in the raw, they're unscheduled, people put their name down at the door, and it's really created a buzz. And Inspiring Talks has really created a wonderful community, and so much has come from it. So many business connections, so many, other ideas have been spawned from it, friendships, dinner parties. I've made some great friends from it as well. And I'm very, very proud to say that I founded it 2 years ago with another lady. I didn't do it all on my own. But on Thursday, the 16th, which was last Thursday of May 2019, just in case you're watching this a couple of years in the future, I sold that business because I wanted to focus on other passion projects. But setting up that business gave me loads of confidence. Because it's actually been one of the most adventurous things I've done to date, right? Because I had very little public speaking experience. All I had done was a public speaking weekend in London with a company called Speaker Express, which used to be called Pony Express, I think. It's run by Annick Petro. Do check her out if you want to learn a bit more about public speaking. I'd had very little experience with public speaking, but I knew it's something I needed to do if I wanted to make more money in my business, which at the time was teaching singing, and now it's doing RTTs and hypnotherapy. It was kind of a make or break moment as well, because I had just bought a flat and I was struggling. The payments were much higher than what I was used to. And so it was kind of like a do or die sort of situation. And often, you know, when the stakes are high, you do find out what you're made of. But I want to just talk a little bit about why Inspiring Talks was a challenge for me personally, in order to inspire you to know that you can overcome these perceived limitations that you think you might have. So for me, I've actually always been a loner. I'm an only child. I find other people weird. I find other people a bit strange, a bit difficult. Sometimes I can be a bit socially awkward. I know I don't come across like that if you've met me in person, but there's a lot going on under the surface. And also, I'd always worked alone. I'd always been self-employed. I've only ever done 3 years worth of work in an establishment. So I'm really used to doing things my way or the highway. I find it really difficult to collaborate with. And I do find it challenging to be around a lot of people. I don't really like crowds. I like one-to-ones and maybe a few people in a gathering, but not hordes of people. Because I have this internal, sort of this hyper sense of responsibility. I'm not particularly chilled, although I am learning now to be much more relaxed. So this hyper sense of responsibility to keep everybody happy, which is probably why I passed out on my 40th birthday a few years ago. It was just too much for my poor little brain. And also another reason why ITB was a challenge for me was because I'm not that good at improvising. I kind of have to plan my improvising, which is a bit weird because it's sort of counterintuitive. I like things to be very structured, very planned. I'm quite habituated. But of course, when you're hosting events like that, anything can go wrong. Anything can happen in the moment. So you have to learn to go off the cuff a little bit. So you could say that the ITB really forced me to up my game. It forced me to kill off and murder those perceived limitations that I had about myself. Because when you challenge your perceived limitations, you actually find out what you are made of. And you realize that is all they are. They are perceived limitations. We are flexible as human beings, no matter how stubborn we are. If we want to be flexible, if we want to learn how to do something differently, whether it's an intrinsic quality or an external skill, we can learn to do that. So, also, in practical terms, by running Inspiring Talks Brighton, I learned how to streamline my time a lot better. So I learned how to say no to people who wanted to go out for coffee and who wanted to pick my brains. And it felt really bad at first because it went against my nature, but eventually it actually felt really empowering. And, you know, saying no to people, it might upset people initially, but it gains you respect long term, and also respect for yourself and respect for your own time. I also stopped this flip-flopping around social media. I stopped going down the scrolling infinite rabbit hole. And I really focused on the tasks that I needed to be doing to get bums on seats every month for Inspiring Talks, because I'd got all my speakers, they'd given up their time for free, and I needed to get bums on seats for them. So I looked at what was working and I focused more on that. I got my mail outs done quickly. I got my images created quickly. I scheduled all my social media posts, just done. It was like using a baseball bat, just keep batting, or a little ping pong table, you know, just kept pinging it back. And it gave me a great sense of achievement and a great sense of being in control. And I think that does come when you are laser beam focused. So, but the other thing that I had to overcome was I had to reach out to others and ask for support. I had to ask for collaboration and to ask for ideas. It forced me to understand that I did not have all of the answers, and that working with other people actually augmented my project and it augmented my own skills rather than taking away from that kudos of wanting to appear like I had done it all myself. So I had to question my competitiveness, and I realized that my belief that it was my way or the highway was actually a bit flawed. But the main thing that kept me going with ITB, even when I was exhausted, even when I did not know what I was doing, even when I was PMT, I was anxious, and overwhelmed. What kept me going was this mission-driven vision. Don't say that quickly, mission-driven vision. And I want to talk a little bit about my vision, because I believe that most of you watching this will probably have a very similar vision. And it is that vision that will get you through the tough times. So I believe that humanity is going through a massive shift. We are going through an age now where this truth, this openness, these types of conversations are crucial to our evolution, okay? And that is why podcasts are exploding right now, and events where conversations are exploding, because anything that is no longer authentic is not sustainable. You only have to look at our political, our economic, our health system, our education system to know that anything that is not true and from the heart and embraces the whole person is no longer sustainable. The old way is just not working. When you don't come from a heart-led, love-based place, nothing works. Or it might work, but it feels like an uphill struggle. When you don't live authentically, when you don't speak your truth, everything suffers. Your relationships suffer, your health suffers, your wealth suffers. So what do I mean by authentic living? Well, basically, I mean stop lying, stop putting on a facade, stop saying how things appear, but speak the truth. How do you feel? This is about connecting to feelings. This is about not puffing up, not bragging so much, not thinking that you are better than others. This is about connecting to that part of you that is the same as everybody else, the feeling part of you, the part of you that knows pain, that knows suffering, that knows the struggle, but also the part of you that knows how to dig deep, how to get yourself out of a black hole, how to fight, how to continue showing up, because that will provide inspiration for others. And when we highlight this truth, when we speak how it really is, like all the crap, all the nastiness, all the depression, the anxiety, all of the truth, when we speak this truth, we soften the boundaries, we lower the boundaries, we break down this toxicity, this fear-based living, this competitive-based living, and we move towards collaborative living, love-based living. And so the stage at Inspiring Talks Brighton that I created was all about that. And the stage was about turning trauma into treasure. Speaking your truth turns trauma into treasure. And it enabled all of the listeners to know that they weren't alone as well. And hopefully that's what these videos will be doing. Because no matter what kind of an upbringing that you've had, whether it's been less than perfect or there's been abuse or whatever, when we come together like this, when we create truth-speaking events, we find our own human family. And I believe that we all need this. We're all seeking this kind of connection with others. So that has been my vision. And I think my vision really has been there my whole life, if I'm honest with you. Ever since, I was a young kid, I've always felt that deep within my soul, but perhaps I didn't have the words for it. So I want to speak a little bit about this phrase that I heard from Marie Forleo. And this phrase is, clarity comes from engagement, not a thought. So I had to find my own clarity by going through lots and lots and lots and lots of different business ideas until I found Inspiring Talks Brighton, which kind of felt like a real win for me and has has paved the way for lots of other interesting projects to manifest. So I'll say that again. Clarity comes from engagement and not a thought. Clarity comes from taking action, not from thinking about taking action. And taking action is what is going to create your passion projects. So, like I said, none of us have a shortage of ideas. And I certainly haven't had a shortage of ideas. But I think one thing that I have done, which I'm really proud of, is I kind of jump in without thinking. Some people call this impulsive. I call this spontaneous. I jump in without thinking. And this is how I get my clarity, because too much thinking can create paralysis. And life will tell you, the analytics will tell you, the bank balance will tell you if it's working or not. Your feelings will tell you if it's working or not. And if you fail, who cares? At least now you have clarity. So I'm just going to list a few of the projects that I've done that have bombed. I did a project called Ladies on the Line, which was like a music promotion thing. I did Brighton Pop Choir. I did a drop-in choir. I did weekly vocal exercises. I did gentle exercise. I've done teaching aerobics. I've done harmony trios. I can't think of any more that I've done, but that's enough for now. And did they work? Well, not in their own right, per se. Some of them did. But what they led me to was clarity. The picture became clearer as time went on. And I honestly believe this is what life is all about. Life is all about giving birth to your creative ideas, reinventing yourself, recreating yourself as time goes by. There is no failure. You just give birth, you keep giving birth, you keep nurturing, and then eventually the teenagers leave home. So my invitation to you is, if you are confused about your next move, just choose one idea that you have. Feel into that idea, close your eyes and figure out what idea out of all the ideas that I've got makes me feel the most excited, is most in line with my internal mission, my life's vision. Pick that idea and run with it. Go for it. Just take the first step. Once you've taken that first step, take the next first step, then the next, then the next, then the next. It's like building a house or building a cathedral. Just take one little brick. You don't have to build the whole thing all in one go. And then you will get clarity as you start to take action on these little steps that you're taking. That is how I managed to build Inspiring Talks. I literally just did one thing at a time. The way it looks today, with all the back end tasks, with all the behind the scenes stuff, is not the same as it was at the beginning. It's much more streamlined because I went through all of the stuff, all of the crap to get to that point. So my statement to you, I suppose, is make your visions a reality. What if you were sitting on a phenomenal idea that could make somebody's life better? What if you were sitting on an idea that could actually save someone's life? Think of it like that. But what if you were too scared of criticism, too scared of rejection, too scared of failure to actually do the thing that you need to do in order to make someone's life better? Do you not think that it is actually your responsibility to move through this fear of failure, this fear of rejection, for the sake of humanity, for the sake of realizing your vision to make people's lives better? What do you think would have happened if the likes of Mark Zuckerberg didn't heed his calling to start his social network? I wouldn't be able to do this live video. You wouldn't be able to gain inspiration from it and run with your projects. What would have happened if Vishen Lakhiani didn't set up Mind Valley, the most amazing school for spirituality on the planet at the moment that is so affordable. What if he'd have just stayed in his comfort zone being a computer programmer? You know, he wouldn't have touched so many people's lives. What would have happened if Alexander Fleming didn't take any notice of that mold that was in that Petri dish? We wouldn't have had penicillin, that life-saving drug, penicillin. So what I'm saying to you is, do not ignore your callings. Your idea could actually save somebody's life or radically improve somebody's life. Think of the amount of apps that are out there today that are making life so different, so convenient for us. So I love this expression, and I think it was from Brené Brown, but I can't be 100% sure. It goes like this: the only way to make the feeling of a calling go away is to answer the call. So if you're frustrated because this calling just won't go away, this idea just won't go away, you keep thinking about it, but you keep getting roadblocked by your fears, that is because you need to answer that call. You need to get over those fears. That idea, that feeling will not go away until you get over your fear of being rejected, which is a big one. I know it is. We all have this fear of being rejected, but you can make it go away. In fact, I do have another video on how to be rejection proof. So go ahead and watch that. I'll post a link down below. Yes, where do I want to say? Yeah, so I encourage all of you to step outside of what you think comfortable is. Live a life on the edge. It's so thrilling. You will get so much from it. But don't do it just for you. Do it to leave a legacy. Do it to bring your human family together. None of us are separate. We all need each other, and your idea could actually spark a chain reaction that could change the world. You just never know. So at the beginning, I said that nobody has a shortage of ideas, but what we do have is a shortage of self-belief. So here's what you need to know about that. Everyone on the planet, I think, bar maybe one or two people, has a shortage of self-belief from time to time. But some people are so mission-driven, they do not care about rejection, shame, feeling vulnerable, coming across vulnerable. They don't care about that because the mission is bigger than them. So here are 3 things that you need to know. If you have an idea or a passion project that you want to do, but you're not doing it because you are scared. Number 1 is you can deal with whatever emerges. So try not to create problems in your head before they have arisen. Often you can't predict what's going to happen beforehand. Some things you can, but some things you can't. Just know that whatever arises, you will be able to handle it, and you will, and if you can't handle it, you will be able to learn from it. And you'll be much better equipped to deal with it next time. This is how I have learned how to do rapid transformational therapy. So often, in a situation where you're working with somebody, you don't know what is going to emerge. So you just have to deal with what emerges in a session. And you might not know how to deal with it there and then. So you might panic. I've been there, I've panicked, I've frozen. But after the session, I've gone away, I've reflected, I've learned from it. And next time, I have been much better equipped to deal with whatever has emerged. And it helps you to learn to improvise as well. That skill that we really need to get through life. So number 2, everything that you need to know about running your side hustle, your passion project, your business is absolutely figure outable. We are so lucky that we have the internet today. You can punch anything into Google and find out. So when I was doing my degree in music, I had to submit my songs to the exam board to be marked, and I had to submit them via MP3. So I had to learn how to create music online, not online, on my laptop, using Logic Pro. I didn't know how to do it. I'd never done any music production. How did I learn? I learned through YouTube, and I also joined some groups on Facebook where people could help me out. You can learn anything online. You just punch it into Google, you ask somebody, you create the confidence within yourself to ask, you reach out. People love being asked to solve a problem. I love it when somebody asks me a question. I just want to help. And most people are like that. Most people just want to help you. There are loads of groups on Facebook that's all to do with your niche, your subject. Go join those groups and ask. Find out what you need to find out to solve your problem. Point number three, when the stakes are high enough, you will make it work. So you have to up the stakes. This is where the energy starts to flow. This is where you start to feel excitement. This is where you start to feel life pulsing through your veins. Depression goes away. The sense of life being purposeless or meaningless goes away. Your anxiety might go up, but that's only because of fear of what might happen. But you can manage that. So for those of you who don't know, Tim Ferriss, you should really go and check him out if you're in the business world. He learned to play the drums in just 1 week, I think it was, by booking himself a gig as a drummer with a very, very well-known band as part of their stadium tour. I think it was Genesis, to really up the stakes, to put that fire in his belly so that he knew what was coming and he was able to knuckle down and do it, and he did it. And he also learned how to speak Filipino by booking himself for an interview on TV with a Filipino presenter. Now, I don't know if I'm brave enough to do that, but there are certainly things that I've done, like committing to Mindset Monday every single week. It ups the stakes. It means I have to do it, even if I don't feel like it. So you can learn on the job. Okay, so when you take a risk and when you start something, people see it. They see that you are doing what they want to do and inspires them, which drives your mission even more. It's like an upward cycle of inspiration and motivation. And what I found most interesting is that for many years, I would be hustling and hustling and hustling to try to get on board with other people and their events. But when I just created my own event, everybody came to me. I didn't have to try. You suddenly create this light and you become visible and people see you and they come to you like a moth to the flame. And that's another reason why I urge you to set up your passion project. If you're sick of hustling, start your own project. People will come to you. And my last point is this: one of the main causes of depression is lack of meaningful work. And so creating a project that is yours, that you're passionate about, gives you masses of meaning. Please don't let lack of self-belief stop you. It's utter BS. Just don't let it. So nature has this way of keeping you protected, of keeping you safe. And nature is very, very good at that. Nature will ensure your safety. That's what stops you from taking risks, because all nature wants to do is keep you alive. So nature ensures your safety and your survival, but it will never ensure your growth. Nature doesn't actually want you to grow. Nature just wants you to survive. You have got to do the growth bit. Your mind, your body, your will, your energy, your intention has to do the growth bit. So even though you might have a belief that you can't do it, you have to overcome that belief in order to grow, in order to evolve. So that is it. That is all from me today. I would love to hear from you about any of your own personal passion projects. Leave a comment. I will answer them. or maybe you can email me. You're welcome to do that. Let me know of any side hustles, any potential businesses that you're running. And of course, let me know if there's anything that you might be struggling with. But if you're still having issues with self-belief and you need to get to the root of it so that you can smash through these blocks, I will be able to help you in an RTT session, which is done brilliantly via Zoom or here with me in Brighton. So RTT is a 2-hour intense process which gets to the root of all of those blocks, all of that negative programming through the use of the subconscious mind. It gives the most important operating system of all, your mind, a massive upgrade. And for those of you who don't know about it, it was designed and developed by the amazing Marissa Peer, and it really is taking over conventional therapy because it's rapid and it's rooted in the science of neuroplasticity. And if you haven't heard of it yet, you soon will, because it is becoming a household name. So as always, if you want to know more, just send me a direct message or email info@sallygarozzo.com or visit my website, sallygarozzo.com. That's all for now. Remember how wonderful you are, remember how great you are, and remember that you have the most amazing potential. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.